Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, great friend of the show. Senator, I don't know if you want to talk about that or not. It's not really necessary. I was getting very excited, not about that. I don't get any excited about the Justice Department anymore. We all know the answers. But I'm understanding, you got to help me out here. You're a fiscal conservative, tough budget guy, tough debt guy. We could be looking at two large omnibus spending bills this fall. One of them on a foreign aid supplemental, and the second one on, 8 or 9 or 10 appropriation bills that the Senate has not yet passed. After all the rhetoric about regular order and all this stuff, Senator Rand Paul, tell me it isn't so. Tell me it isn't so.
Well, the inside baseball crowd here in D.C. are trying to convince us that a megabus is different than an omnibus.
No.
For folks at home, that means they bundle a bunch of spending bills all together in one bill. Whether it's mega or omni, it's a disaster for the taxpayer. The only way we have the power of the purse and the only way we exercise the power of the purse is to have individual appropriation bills. This is what Speaker Johnson was elected to do, and I think he's going to do it. I'm proud of him for his first legislation. He singled out, took as an individual bill, Israel aid, but he's paying for it by reducing the IRS budget. This is the way it should always be. No new spending unless we cancel out some other spending.
Well, I think that's a terrific start. I couldn't agree with you more. But now I'm reading a couple of things I want to ask you about. Number one, Ukraine and border reform stuff. Okay, whether that is Chuck Schumer wants a whole bill, I don't know, $150 billion, Ukraine, Israel, border, Taiwan, and something called emergency aid. So I'm just calling that a foreign aid supplemental. Makes no sense to me, violates what Speaker Mike Johnson is trying to do with respect to cutbacks, as you just mentioned. How realistic? Is that what's going to happen? Are we going to be faced with that? And Senator Paul, are these border reforms, I know Mitch McConnell wants them, are they any good? I mean, I looked at them and the reporting, it doesn't look like they're so fantastic. The border still be open.
Unfortunately, this is Senator McConnell supporting President Biden and Chuck Schumer. He's going along with the kitchen sink approach, dump everything into the kitchen sink, Ukraine, Israel, border, Taiwan, everything into a $100 billion bill. But realize what Senator McConnell and Senator Schumer are doing here. They want an enormous package, over $100 billion, and they're insisting that it not be paid for. President Biden, who's allied with Senator McConnell on this, are saying it's unprecedented to ask to pay for something. I would say it's about damn time we pay for something around here. So I think the precedent that Speaker Johnson is setting, if he sticks by his guns, he will prevail. Because there is no leverage to have the Senate force him to do this. Israel got $5 billion last year. Israel's got a lot of money and they've got a lot of armaments. And so if they want more, and if the Senate wants to pass it, they're going to pass what Speaker Johnson has put forward. If they don't, Israel won't get their aid. And I defy President Biden to come forward and say, oh, I'm going to veto aid to Israel if it's paid for with IRS cuts. Won't happen. And if Speaker Johnson sticks by his and is courageous on this, I think in the end that's what passes is Israel aid by itself, but paid for, which will set the precedent that that's what we're doing from now on. You want more money for Ukraine, you're going to have to cut more IRS money. That's the trade-off.
No, pay for is 100%. You know me, 100%. But I'm just looking at this business about, you've seen these polls, Washington or New York Times, Siena poll, but there are a lot of polls out. People are furious at the open borders, at the illegal immigration, at what it's doing to the economy. And it's a national issue. It's not just a border issue. You know that as well as anybody. My point is, I don't see what kind of reforms are we talking about. Yes, I noticed build a wall, but it doesn't specify how much of the wall, the Trump wall. I don't see catch and deport. I don't see remain in Mexico. I don't see replacing Title 42. I mean, sometimes the game's not worth the candle, Senator Paul.
Unless you change the law and allow people who come across the river illegally to be immediately put back on the other side,
right.
Unless you change the law to do that, nothing's going to change. I suspect What Democrats will call border security is a bunch of money to New York City to house illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
And paying for migrant hotels around the country, maybe sending the migrants to Disney World. But it's not going to be sending the migrants back across the Rio Grande. So I'm very suspicious of it, but I also don't like the fact that they're lumping it into a bill with another $50–60 billion to Ukraine and no pay-fors and no conditions. No conditions that Ukraine's got to do something. We're paying for Ukraine pensions. We're paying for Ukraine workers. We're paying for Ukraine small businesses. I mean, there's some dress shop over there got a grant from us. I mean, this is crazy, and Americans are not for this. We have to borrow the money from China to send it to Ukraine.
No, listen, I may not agree with you 100%, but you know what? There's got to be an exit strategy. There's a stalemate over there. We can't keep ponying up $100 billion a year with no conditionality, no diplomacy. I mean, I think you have some important points, Senator. If anything, in the last 6 or 9 months, I've probably moved in your direction on this whole issue.
I knew it would happen, Larry. I knew you and I were meant to be in the same place on this.
In the last 10 years, there hadn't been much running room between us. Senator Rand Paul, you're terrific.